Hello and welcome to North Myrtle Beach. We're going to go to the Heritage Shore Nature Preserve, which is in the Cherry Grove portion of North Myrtle off of 53rd Avenue North at the Cherry Grove boat ramp. There's lots of parking here if you're going to be putting your boat in, if you're going to be putting in a kayak, but if you're going to the nature preserve, you do have to pay for parking. There's a specific parking lot for you. Also, public restrooms. So if we zip over the water and take a turn, after you leave the parking lot, you will have to walk through a small section of residential, a neighborhood, only a couple hundred feet until you reach the end of the road, which is a dead end for vehicles. But if you're a pedestrian, go right ahead into the nature preserve. There it is, right down there. This nature preserve has a very unique history, as does the whole area of North Myrtle Beach. We won't get into all of that, but as we wander around, enjoy the sights from the ground, and of course the sights from the sky, I'll tell you a little bit about it. As I mentioned, we are in Cherry Grove. This municipality has been around since the late 50s. It was independent, but in the late 60s, about 1968, it was incorporated into the city of North Myrtle Beach. At the time, Crescent Beach, Ocean Drive, Windy Hill, all these smaller municipalities combined into one to become North Myrtle Beach. The nature preserve itself is not extremely large. The pathway you can walk, it's a loop. It goes to the end of the peninsula and then back to the original entrance. There's walkways like this that go over the marsh. There are walkways that go through shaded areas full of canopy with lots of shade. There's benches periodically, and there's even picnic tables. You are allowed to bring your dog leashed to walk through here, so feel free to do so. And as you go through the loop, there is signage that's going to teach you about the wildlife of the area and how the natural geography or topography of this island came to be, which is not 100% natural. We'll get to that in a moment. The further you travel toward the tip of the peninsula, the closer you are to the actual Atlantic Ocean. The mouth of the ocean opens up just about a half mile beyond the end of this piece of land, this peninsula. From this view, you can see the loop on the right side. That pathway goes all the way to the tip, goes around the curve, then comes back on the left. So if you wanted to spend more time here, you could do a couple laps. Also, the wildlife is not afraid of people. As you can see from this fiddler crab right here, he don't care. So keep that in mind. If you're walking your dog, they could get spooked or try to chase something. This area of Cherry Grove, all the way back to the 50s, has been a really hot topic. The developers have been coming in here trying to modify the land, create bridges and causeways to interconnect different isolated land masses within the inlet and whatnot to create developments. One such development was known as the Heritage Shores Project, where the namesake of this nature preserve comes from. The development plans that were originally sketched out for this area had homes all along this, as you see on this map. All of this was supposed to be homes. There was outcry locally. There were different environmental groups that came and spoke on this. Anyway, long story short, just a portion of this section was developed and the rest was reserved by the city as a nature preserve to mitigate the complaints from each party, the developers and the existing landowners and nature conservationists. And some of the signs around the island are going to give you a little bit of that history that I just mentioned. There's a lot more to it. Believe me, you could write a whole book on it. So that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the political history of this peninsula. All that in the past. This opened up in 2007 to the general public, and they haven't let it be. You're going to notice as we go further up to the very tip that they are modifying some of the picnic area up here at the very tip of this area down there in the center. If you look into the distance, that is the Atlantic Ocean. There's a couple of videos on this channel with where we kayaked through that area. It's very calm, very comfortable, as long as you don't go against the tide. If you go against the tide when you're kayaking here at the mouth, you're not going to have a good time, so just keep those tide charts in mind. Here's a really good overview from the north looking south of the preserve. As you can see, there is a temporary dock for them to deliver materials for the improvements that they're currently working on out here. If you time it just right and there's no one else out here, you've got the perfect picnic spot. Off in the distance to the left, where that canopy is kind of poking up, is Wadey's Island. It is owned by Coastal Carolina University, most of it is. In order to get there, you kayak from the boat dock or take a boat, and you can enjoy just wandering around the undeveloped island with beautiful views. Just be respectful of the area while you're visiting. This view here is from the north facing south. The North Carolina-South Carolina border is just behind us, and this is a good overview of the entirety. As you can see, there are channels that feed tidally influenced pools in the middle. So depending on what time of day, the tide is high or low, you're going to see different wildlife in those pools.
Fishing or heavy?
And that is the Heritage Shores Nature Preserve. Another minute or so of footage for you guys to enjoy. So I'm going to sign off here. So until next time, everybody take it easy.
Fishing or